remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I just knew too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly.
What's up, YouTubers? So, this week, I'm continuing breaking the chain religion. Picking up where I left off last week, before I joined the service, I had already noticed that my family was beginning to be very distant toward me, isolating me and what's not. In the black family, religion is everything. Religion is the community, is what ties you to each other. It's what gets you through the struggle we'll go through as a community and also as individuals. So when I dropped this religion, it was a big deal. And if you want, you can go back to my video that I made where are all of the black atheists, and I really explained to you why it is that you see so many few black atheists, and to help you understand some of the struggles that I was about to embark upon. Well, when I came home from leave the first time, this was during Christmas of '09. They basically, my family just wanted me to go to church and bring in the new year at the church, which essentially I did not want to do. But nonetheless, they finally managed to talk me into going in there. And I was curious to see was they still doing the same dumb shit that they always do when they bring in the new year. And that is, of course, you have to be on your knees and pray in the new year. And, you know, you got everybody stand up and get their little testimonies about all the hardship they done went through in the year and how God then brought them out. And, yeah, they were still doing the same bullshit. I can't recall ever stepping into a church again after this point. No, at least not a Baptist church after this point. But nonetheless, it was just horrible. Well, my sister got the sense that I really wasn't there to give any testimony or anything like that. And the pastor got pretty upset with me as well when he got upset because I did not get up and give my personal testimony. This is when I was excommunicated from the church. This is when, after this incident, he once again asked me to stay after services, to see him real quick after services. And I went to see him, see what he wanted, and he was like, I don't understand why you didn't get up and give your testimony, because I know you got something to testify about, being that you were in the service. Now, at this particular point, I had not gone to Iraq yet. But it was pretty obvious that I was going to wind up going once I got done with my AIT, my training for my MOS. It was pretty obvious that I was going to wind up going to Iraq. But I don't have anything to testify to the church about that. I mean, you know, I don't want to talk to the church. Well, nonetheless, once I basically told him that no, I was not planning on talking to the church, and that yes, I was in fact an agnostic atheist, and that the only reason why I came to these church services was because my sister basically kept bugging me about it, and that I would not come to the church again. He then took it at that point, at that exact moment, to go ahead and excommunicate me. Great, because I'm not coming back here anyway. Well, what does that actually mean? It meant a whole hell of a problem, because it now meant that I was a black person without a church, without a religion, without a belief, without morals, and so on. These ripple effects. So my family began to shun from me. They did not want to take my phone calls. Once I, of course, left from leave to go back to training. And then when I took leave again, once I completed my training, and I came home for about 2 weeks. Actually, I think it might have been a little bit more than that. Once I done that, they were very distant toward me. In fact, part of that time, I just wound up staying into a hotel because I did not even want to be bothered with them. Trying to convert me, and every time they would try and they would basically fail, they would try another attempt, another way to force religion down my throat, saying, well, either you practice religion, and what ultimately wound up happening, you're going to have to find somewhere else to stay. Well, hell, I came home on leave to visit y'all. Y'all the one that been asking me to come home on leave, and now I get home and I have to deal with this. And ultimately, I wind up just going to stay into a hotel. Then, basically, that next letter I was going to take was right before I went to Iraq. They wanted me to come home yet again. This time I was much smarter about the matter. And I did come home for 2 weeks, but I automatically stayed into a hotel. I didn't even try this mess about staying with them because I know how they act. Nonetheless, they felt that because I was going to be going to Iraq, that must mean that I was going to pick up religion again. Well, that did not happen. When I came home on off from Iraq, as well as once I completed my tour in Iraq and came home, and they realized that I had not picked up a belief in any God, for that matter, they became even more distant toward me until we finally get to the point of where we are today. They don't like talking to me. I do not like talking to them. They would try dumbass things like trying to convert me. There was an incident, this was back in Thanksgiving, which is the only time that I ever go down there, and even then it's a very quick visit. And I don't go down there to eat anymore, and that pisses them off too. Oh, you better than us. Well, I don't deal with the ignorance. But this last Thanksgiving I went down there and got into it with my uncle because he decides that, one of the ways that he's going to prove me wrong in my atheism is by asking me that I put up a tree. That year, last year. And I told him that I had put up a winter solstice tree that I had been putting up for the past 10, not for the past 10 years, but that I had been putting up since I had been putting up trees within the past 10 years. And he's like, what's that? I said, the same thing you put up. Because, I mean, essentially that's what they're doing. They're celebrating a pagan belief, nonetheless. And so, and I told him what the tree meant, how it was a sign of fraternity, and how the star, represented the star in the sky. And I went over all the details with these guys, but the fact is they don't want to hear it. And me and my brother, we got into a heated debate about it at the table along with my aunt about basically some of the things that the Bible said. And of course, everything you tell them, they're going to tell you, well, actually the Bible doesn't say that. It does me no good to continue to argue with them because obviously the Bible does say it. I have read the Bible in its entirety. I know the Bible says that. Don't even waste your time pointing out the verses and what's not, because they'll just try to argue that you're taking it out of context. That's not what it means. It doesn't say that. You got a bad copy of the Bible. They'll try any old thing. And really, I'm telling you, just wasting your time. You're going around in circles with these guys, and it's not worth your time. But nonetheless, I don't go down there. In fact, I haven't been down to my granddaddy's house since Thanksgiving. And I really don't mess with any one of my family members because they are so ignorant and they believe that by hanging around an atheist, befriending an atheist, having any type of relationship with an atheist, it's an abomination in God's eyes and will ultimately condemn them to hell along with me. Well, when you have that type of thinking, how can you be a family? I mean, you have chose religion over family, and it is despicable. But unfortunately, they can't see it that way, so I let them live in their own damn madness. But nonetheless, these are the challenges that I had to face while getting out the service and continue to face challenges with my own family. Next week, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and begin talking about the challenges that I would face at Aiken Technical College here, and also the different challenges I would face around in my community. But before I conclude this video, I want to tell you that when I came back home, which I should have never done, I should have never moved back home. I think I got out the services. I don't know what I was thinking about. Nonetheless, when I came back, I realized that not only was this still very much in the Bible Belt, but that things had somehow managed to get a bit more religious all around. And I will be talking about this next week when I get into some of the things that I faced at Aiken Technical College, as well as around in this community. But that is going to conclude this video for this week. Make sure you go ahead and tune in and read any videos that you may have missed. Watch any videos that you may have missed, and feel free to go ahead and comment on any videos or post a video response. Thanks.